Welcome, guys, to this client interview. We today have Pedro Cortez from Portugal. And Pedro, I'll let you introduce yourself, a little bit about you and what you do.
Awesome, Quazi. Thanks for having me. Basically, what I do is, I'm a consultant. I'm an entrepreneur. I help like software companies just essentially get more sales out of their website, just getting better conversions. That's basically what it is. And yeah, like I just wanted to join Reality Mastery so I could, get my mind into like more focus, be clear about what I wanted, just be um, more aware of how I can manage the ups and downs of
Mhm.
entrepreneurship, and just stay grounded. I just think this is something that I'm going to need throughout my entire life. So it was like a no-brainer to join. That's, I guess, what we got to talk about anyway.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So I think you joined us back in February.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the motivation behind you joining? Like, I know, but I just want you to say it in your own words.
Yeah. So what was happening is I finished my first year full time, and I kind of did I did kind of well for the first year full time. I had like a nice salary. I felt like I proved myself. So then I thought, okay, now I want to make around 20K a month, because that's how I'm gonna feel like I have a legit business. I have something that is it's a legit business regardless of where I am. Not as just like a good salary in Portugal and it's kind of shitty salary somewhere else,
Right.
right? So what happened is I set that goal. I've done like 15K months before. So it wouldn't be a
Oh, your
problem.
connection's getting kind of
But
shaky.
what happened in January?
Last year at
Okay,
15K months
if you
before.
want, I can just move to mobile data. Yeah. So, like if you have any problems, I can move to mobile data. Worst case.
Yeah, I think this is fine right now, but yeah,
Okay.
we lost you at 15K months.
Okay. So I had the 15K months before, like 12, 15K months before, but I just felt like I was going to do that. And when I start focusing on the things I needed to do to get to that 20K, I just started feeling way too attached to that results, that I started having the sales calls and looking, okay, there's no way this guy is going to pay for it, or the leads that I'm getting are not really that great. Let me
Mhm.
change a few things around in my business. And then what would happen is I had January and February where I made no money. And then I said, okay, I think this is something that is just telling me, okay, I need to invest in myself. I need to make a change here, because I feel like way too anxious. We're way too attached to this result, and this is like not healthy at all, and makes no sense.
Got it. Okay, so just so I've got the timeline correct, you were full-time entrepreneur back in 2019?
Yep.
Okay, cool, cool. So you started entrepreneurship around 2019, and then when you came into 2020, like you've already done a 15K month back in 2019. I think you said the total you made that whole year was around, was it 60K?
Yeah, it was around 60K.
Okay, cool, cool. So yeah, and then when you came into 2020 in January and February, you made absolutely nothing, right?
Yeah, which crushed my ego.
Yeah, I totally get that, man. I know what that's like. I was in that position too. That happened to me in May of 2019 at my business where I made absolutely zero. But yeah, you mentioned that when you were making nothing, you like, it's the sales calls, and I was too, because I remember when you came on the console call with me, you were like, oh yeah, in the sales calls, I just keep doubting myself, and then I think that he's not going to buy, so that he doesn't, and then he doesn't actually buy. The hypothesis gets confirmed, and then
Yeah.
that makes you doubt your business and what you're doing in the business, and then you start changing things up based on actually getting real data, right? So what was that cycle like? And I mean, what made you really think that, you know what, this is a me problem? Like, what was the moment of realization where you came to that level of awareness where you were like, okay, this is me. This is not the business, but the problem is me.
Yeah, it's a variety of things, right? Obviously, I've gotten similar results in the past. I've noticed that that has been my pattern. I have, like, last year was my first year full time, but I've done entrepreneurship for a couple of years before, where I was just still in college, so I didn't have that much time. So obviously, I wasn't making as much. And in the first year full time, I noticed I would have really big months, and then I would just not make any money at all. So I was kind of spotting those patterns already. I noticed that I had a few people around me that were making more than me. They have been doing that consistently. So, and they were in the same niche. So it wasn't because of the niche, all those things. Um, and yeah, I just felt like emotionally, I was like very up and down. I was like very attached to being like a successful entrepreneur, just taking it to another level.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I knew like I was just in balance, because I've experienced that in the past, because I've had a few issues with like managing anger and anxiety when I was like a teenager and stuff. So I know like how obsessive I could get, and I know that was like totally my problem.
Got it. That's awesome, man. A lot of people don't realize that until they like hit the breaking point, right? And I suppose maybe that's what you could say for you. Like the February month was the breaking point where it's like, all right, it's me, you know? But then what happens is usually when people do hit that breaking point, they try the next thing, you know, the next tactic or strategy. So it's always like they take their awareness from
Yeah.
themselves and they like their attention is pointed outwards. It's like, okay, what can help me do sales? Oh, let me try some sales gimmick or tactic, right? But
Yeah, and
yeah.
another thing that I forgot, yeah, another one last point is I remember watching your videos in December, which is when I was planning out the year and the goals that I wanted to achieve and stuff like that. Because I was taking like half the month off just to, take some time, because I didn't take any time off throughout the entire year. And then I started watching your videos, getting pretty much addicted to them. And then I started noticing all these patterns and all those stories you talked about, and the stories that you talked about from your clients. I also noticed those patterns as well. So I thought, okay, this is the guy that's going to help me with this, because I've never seen anyone that would help people with that. So perhaps I would have reached out earlier if I was aware of that problem in the
So
first place.
it's interesting even for me to know, like, what exactly was that kind of pulled you in? Like, what exactly was, because you said, oh, I never knew people, you helped with that kind of thing. What is that kind of thing that really pulled you in and was like, all right, well, I gotta get into reality, Marshall. I gotta work with this guy.
Yeah, because when you I don't know, when you do some research online on how you can, turn goals into something that you would like break down into, like, it's either like they're way too focused on productivity that is kind of useless, just getting a lot of things done that make no sense, or
Mm.
they're focused on this magical law of attraction that, you know, that just gets you, magical results just by wishing and praying, right? So what I wanted is I wanted someone to help me figure out, okay, this is what I want. How do I break it down into a multi-year vision? And how do I keep accountable for that on a daily basis? Because I knew that I wanted a system. I didn't want some like bullshit that, to guide me, right? I
Right.
wanted a daily system that I can use for the rest of my life, essentially, that I can turn my multi-year vision into a daily ritual.
Got it. Awesome, man. So I think you mentioned, I think even when you did that video testimonial for me, that you tried out Think and Grow Rich, you tried out the meditations and all of that. So basically, when you were going through this period of struggling in January and February, making nothing in the business, what did you try out yourself to help you get out of this rut?
Yeah, it was. I haven't tried it in January and February. I've been trying that since the beginning of the journey, honestly, like probably 4 years ago or something.
Mm.
Right? I've read all the books. I've tried to find out the patterns, but books like Think and Grow Rich, they are a little bit too hard to understand, honestly. And those more, I don't know how to describe it, but books like Power versus Focus and I forgot the name of the other book. But yeah, those kind of books, they're just even harder to understand. I just can't understand anything. They're a little bit too vague. Like I said, I wanted like a daily ritual. It's not about having that information. It's about turn that into a process that I can use. Like, and for that, I'm willing to, to, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Right. I
Okay.
don't want the books. I want the
Right. Right.
process.
Okay. So you joined in February and you went from zero to your first 32K cash month. Was that in June, May,
Yeah, that was in August.
August?
But my goal was the 20K, right? And I hit 21 in April.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I remember you talking. We were chatting because I went on vacation and then I came back and then we were messaging and you're like, oh, I'm at like 17K this
Yeah,
month, and it was like towards the end of the month,
it was
right?
the last day, I think.
It was the last day of the month,
Yeah,
and then next day you messaged me like, by the way, hit 21K or something.
yeah.
That was awesome, man. That was absolutely awesome. So like, how did it evolve? Like, how was you joined in February? How did your journey evolve as you went through reality mastery? What did you take away that kind of translated into it? Like, what was the revenue for March and how did that happen? Yeah, I'd love to know that.
Yeah, it's just like things started to, kind of fall into place, right? So when I started reality mastery, like last week of February or something, somehow I was just started noticing more opportunities. So a random guy reached out saying he had like a SaaS company, and I just talked to him. I realized he wasn't really a good fit, but he had an agency um, where you would close like big deals and stuff like that. So he actually offered me to help me out with sales, and I was just giving him a few tips on the SaaS company because it wouldn't be a good fit for now. I can just give him a few tips. So that he helped me out a ton because I was not doing sales properly. So he helped me out a ton, and immediately I could turn the leads that I already had into a 15K month and then a 21K month because obviously I needed some practice. And yeah, I just kept going July or so.
Your
I
connection's getting
I
shaky again. I
got
think it'll
help
be
from
better to
another
go to a
guy
better
to take
place.
my offer. Yeah, I'll just move to mobile data real quick, and that should fix it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, picking back up, I think you were mentioning how was March, did you hit a 15K month in March?
Yep.
Oh, damn. So you went from zero in January, zero in February, come into the program, first month, find some like sales mentor that comes in, like ever since joining Reality Mastery, floodgates open, find sales mentor, get to
Yep.
15K month. Next month, you get to 21K. And then by August, you hit your first 32K.
Exactly.
So what I want to know is, and this is the most interesting point, how did that like, of course, you don't really know how, but what do you think led to you meeting this chance sales mentor? Like what in reality mastery was it? Because it's difficult to see these cause and effect relations because, it's just, this is so esoteric, right? You focus on it, you get clear on your goal, you have the right systems, you use the right systems. So what do you think it was?
Yeah, I think I know exactly what it is. Um, like I'm in the engineer type, right? So what happens is I look for problems, to spot problems so I can find the solution, right? So I'm constantly spotting problems and trying to make things better and stuff like that. So when I was working in my business, I saw, okay, maybe there's a problem here. Maybe the leads need to be more qualified. Maybe I need to have more leads, right? And what you teach is actually the opposite. So that's something that is not too natural for me. And that's something that I kind of have to force. And that's why I kind of forced it this time. So it's like, okay, this guy's coming up. Let's just see what happens. And that's what happened, right? An opportunity came up. So you teach us to look for opportunities and look for confirmation
Mm-hmm.
instead of looking for reasons why it wouldn't work, because that's what I was doing 24/7. That's
Got it.
what's natural to me.
So you basically expanded your comfort zone, did something that was completely left field and accept some opportunity from some guy, and you had no idea, like an act of faith, right? You went from complete engineering logic to let's take a faith, a leap of faith and, see where this goes. And then every single step of the way, you confirm it. And
Exactly.
that's basically what led you to that 15K month.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. It's
That's
because that's
insane.
my natural state. It was super useful to have also in the program, like later in the program, ways to always be that way and always, regardless of what happens, always look for that, for the reasons why it would work and the tiny bit, the tiniest of confirmation that it would work.
Got it. Amazing, man. That's awesome. That was a big game changer for me too. But yeah, I suppose, what would you say was the biggest takeaway, like the biggest thing that you took away? One thing that's more profound than every other thing in the program that you took away that was the most valuable for you?
Yeah, I think it was week 4, and it was about, like I just said, managing, those patterns. Because it's one thing to, I don't know, be positive for 2 weeks, and then something happens and you don't have that mindset, you don't have a mechanism to always stay grounded.
Mhm.
And that's the thing that helped me had a more long lasting result. Because I've definitely tried this in the past, and I've gotten success in the past. Like every time I would invest in myself, and we talked about this in the past, like I would get excited, I would see the opportunities, but then shortly after, I would start seeing the problems again, because I no longer had the advice from the outside, and then things would just go back to normal, or not as good as they were when I invested in myself and got that initial boost.
Got it. Okay. So you would see like a short spike happening, but then you go back down to your neutral level.
Yep.
How do you think that's changed now?
Yeah, I think I'm just way more ready for that.
Mm.
I'm just prepared. Like last month. So let's say in August I did 32K, right? And then last month I was like, okay, how the hell am I going to make that again? So based on your stuff, it's just like, whatever. I'm not going to change anything. Let's just, if I done it once, I can do it again. Let's just see how it goes. Let me just focus on getting these interviews with clients, just doing my normal thing, blah blah blah. And I hit 27K. Like the goal was just to hit 20K months in a row. I just did 27. Like I in the last week, and I think the last day of September or something was like a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. So I only had like 2 days to close the deal, and I was at like 15, and I closed 2 more. Um, and I was like, I wasn't worried about it. Like, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it. I'm sure I'm gonna close this calls, whatever. Right?
Amazing, man. So you did 60K in 2019. How much are you at so far, if you don't mind sharing, at 2020 already? And it's October.
Yeah, like I said, because of the months that I lost, I'm probably around. I should be around 110 or something.
Wow. And that's considering January and February, you did
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah,
right?
exactly. That's why. That's because of this.
So it seems to me that you just went from like this fluctuation, feast or famine, to now actually becoming consistent. Because March onwards, right? Ever since you joined, March onwards, it's just been consistent, 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 right? So I would say, knowing what you know now from the program, what advice would you give to someone watching this? If they want to become more consistent in their business?
Yeah, I think they just need to know exactly what they want to go. They need to know exactly what they want, which is part of the things that you teach. They need to have, ways to keep grounded, like an actual routine where they, okay, like whatever happens, they okay, this is exactly what I'll be doing next. These are the steps that are going to be coming up. This is my vision for the next few years. This is the confirmation that is actually happening every single day. And then just practicing and practicing that mindset of looking for those opportunities and having those mechanisms. I don't remember the name. Like those mechanisms to always stay grounded and look for those
Coordination.
opportunities. Stuff like, yeah, that was it. Methods of coordination, week 4, something like that.
Amazing, man. I love that. So, Pedro, I suppose what's next for you? You help SaaS companies with their conversions, you help them grow. Looking into the next year, next 5 years, even, what's that vision that you're striving towards?
Yeah, I think my vision is to just try to change. Yeah, just go for something bigger, go for like a bigger impact, just have some, almost like a mastermind where a lot of companies are getting my help. We're doing this in groups. um, we're pretty much doubling their business within a year, something like that. And I'm just helping out a lot of SaaS companies. We're getting amazing results. I'm probably making like 50 to 100K a month or something like that. And yeah, just keep growing, right? Because one of like my main reason why is just to like to just be sort of like a master where you just focus on getting better, not getting too attached to the results, and then things will come. If I focus on like getting better every single day, like those will compound anyway. So that is my goal. My goal was like in terms of how I wanted to be. It's
Hmm.
just I just want to be this guy that is successful. He doesn't really care too much about what he's doing because he's just focusing on it like on a day by day basis, and like it just evolves over time, right?
Amazing, man. That is awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that. I do think it was truly valuable. But yeah, I suppose on a final note, who would you, knowing what you know now, being through what you've been through, achieving the results you've gotten, who would you recommend this program to and why?
Yeah, I would recommend this program to anyone that wants to make like any big leap in life. Sometimes it might be someone that is wanting to achieve a new goal in terms of entrepreneurship, because that's where I was at. Maybe someone that wants to make a big leap in their career. Maybe they want to go from a 9 to 5 to um, uh, entrepreneurship, or they want to change careers altogether, or even they're not in a supportive environment to do whatever change they want, because they're just gonna get all of those signs why it wouldn't work, even if it's
Mm.
not from them, like from people on the outside.
Hmm.
Um, and I think if you don't have the help from someone like you, is probably not gonna make it. Because I've felt like that in the past, but I mean, I just didn't share stuff with anyone, and I'm really the type of guy to tell everyone to fuck off. So I wasn't too big of a problem.
Amazing, man. Pedro, thank you so much for doing this, guys. I hope this was really helpful for you. I'm going to attach Pedro's socials down in the comments, so check that out. And yeah, man, thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. Hope it was useful, and thanks for having me. Cheers.
Peace.